Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You've Been Josh with Josh. I'm your host, Josh. Episode 21. We can drink now. Woohoo! We're of legal age. Is that how that works? Is it like dog years, but for, I guess is it like every 7 years? Every 1 year is 7 years for a dog? Is it every week? Every week is, every episode is a year for an episode? Is that how that works? But, like podcasts can live to be super old. They could be they can be thousands of years old. They can be like sequoia trees. Do you know what I'm saying? They're incredibly mature. Anyway, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that, but welcome back, everybody. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate you being here. This is going to be a shorter episode today. I actually have no script. This is the raw, uncut, just like most podcast episodes. But this week is a little more laid back, given the fact that I'm in a whole different realm this week. I'm in a whole other realm. So to give some premise, my wife Joy, love of my life, fantastic woman, she started a new job this past week. It's one of her dream jobs. It's a dream come true for her. She's loving it. But it's a big change. And with that comes some challenges for my daily life with this new job. She has to travel a lot. Not like it's for her job. She's a teacher. But because of it being a new job, we're not living close to the place she's working. So she has to commute a big distance there and then a big distance back, of course. And since it is school related, she has to be there in the morning. And I normally stream in the evenings. I normally start at 4 p.m. EST. I've been doing that for like the last year. And it's been awesome. But my mental health in my life comes first, and that's something that I've learned over the course of this year. It's a big learning, all these stepping stones, So I know that I have to make changes because I don't get to see her anymore. Because when she gets home, I'm streaming, and she's normally in bed by the time that I finish streaming. And that doesn't work because she normally gets up the same time I do, but then she leaves right away. So to make sure that I'm able to spend time with her, get some quality time in, and also make sure that we can do like groceries and stuff, so that way I'm not doing all the errands and she doesn't feel like she needs to rush and do them by herself, and we can do this together, because that's one of the great parts of having a partner is doing the adult tasks together, not alone. And so that being said, I made the decision to move my streams to the morning times. And nothing has been officialized yet. I just did my stream this morning. Woke up at 6, got my shower, got my coffee, got my well, I didn't have coffee, my G Fuel, I should say. She made coffee, my wife. And we went on, and I had my stream this morning, and it went really, really well. I was very worried that I know it's not official yet, so I still have no data to look at or no analytics, but it was crazy to see how many people showed up for the morning streams. Because I used to have 11Zs, which is where this podcast derived from, on Saturday mornings, but it was at 11 a.m. and I've been starting my streams at 8. That's what I'm trying to continue doing is 8 a.m. start my streams. I don't know how long I'll go. I don't know if 8 a.m. will be a definite time to start. But that's where it's looking. But it's interesting. I was just pleasantly surprised at how many people showed up, and it's heartwarming, that even with a big change like that, it people were still showing up no matter what time of day it was, and coming to watch, which was nice. But because of that, I'm switching my work schedule around. I'm trying to figure out what I can do. Like I'm the one who's being flexible right now. when Joy was in school, when we started dating, um, she wasn't making any money, and I was the one who was bringing in the money for our trips and our activities and all those different things while she was in school. And then we both were working, and then she let me pursue what I wanted to do, and she was bringing in the money, and she still is bringing in the money. Let's be completely honest. As a content creator doing this full time at the level that I'm at, I'm not bringing in that much. We scrape by, but she's the money maker. So seeing her being able to do now a job that truly makes her happy is making me happy, and now I'm making it work for our relationship and shifting my schedule to consolidate better time, allocate better time for her and I, and in our life together. So hopefully when we move here in May, which was still the plan, we can move. We're planning to move somewhere closer to her new job, so that way the commute is not as bad, as well as hopefully that will free up some more time to continue the streams in the morning, but make them a little longer because I want to be able to make them longer. Normally I would stream in the evenings, and so on Tuesdays, which I normally have off, I would spend this today doing the podcast, researching things, making sure that I allocate all of Tuesday to just podcasts and then social media stuff. And then in the evenings, I normally hop in the Discord and play some video games, which is nice. But streaming in the morning today, and then doing this podcast, it's already like 3 p.m. So I'm trying to see what I can get done today. Because Joy gets home now at like 6 p.m. rather than 11 p.m. It's just all these, time zones. It just gets so confusing. It gets so confusing. Life is an odd conundrum. Time is just this weird variable in your life that you constantly have to work around and understand and find your flow, and it's just back and forth. So I feel like every month there's something that is I feel the need to apologize for, or feel the need to change, but I'm still young. I'm still trying to figure out my shit. I'm just happy that Joy's happy and I'm happy, and we want to make sure that continues. So if there are changes that need to be made, they need to be made. But it's the way it is. It's just the way it is. But in in other news, goddamn, my brain is all over the place today. Things have been great. To all the people who've done the HelloFresh box, which, by the way, get your HelloFresh box. You get a chance to win the apron. Check the description down below. Add plug there it is. If you haven't already, get your HelloFresh box. Joy and I have gotten 3 of our boxes already, and we have had a range of stuff. We had this sesame chicken bowl, which was a fucking slap. They had like this own spicy mayo, the one you get with like sushi, and we made it ourselves. And then it had like crunchy fried onions in it, and oh my god, it was just delicious. We had pork tacos. There tonight we're actually making this coconut pork curry soup. What? It looks so good. We had pasta. We've had fettuccine. We had a chicken carbonara ravioli, which was so weird. You normally have chicken carbonara as like a pasta with chicken and stuff. It was chicken carbonara, but like inside the ravioli. So there was bacon, chicken, and cheese inside of the ravioli stuffed. And then it was like the mushrooms and stuff with the pasta, like the ravioli. Oh my God, so good. And we've been doing that. And we actually liked the one taco so much that we went to the grocery store and we got more of the ingredients because they gave you the recipe cards. And we made a big batch and froze it because we have a very small fridge. We don't have enough room for it, but we have a freezer. So we froze it. And so now we have meals for the entire week. It's wonderful. But yeah, it was 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Good meals. I started some new games. We jumped back into the Skyrim, but we've been playing a lot of indie games recently. This past week, to the people who've been following the podcast, they know that my goal for 2020 was to reach 200 platinums on PlayStation, which are the achievements. It's when you collect all of the trophies in a game, you get a platinum trophy. And some games don't have them, but some games do, and it's like basically like a hat tip. Like, hey, you completed the entire game, you got all the trophies. Here's a platinum trophy, and it's worth a lot of points on their point system. My goal for 2020 or 2022, God, not 2020. Whoa, 2022. Wow, I went back in time 2 years. My goal for 2022 was to get 200 platinums, which I was at like 120 when the year started. To get to 200 platinums and bring my completion rating, my overall PlayStation completion rating to 80%, which was at like 67%. We are now up to 71.6% completion rating, and we just hit 150 platinums and 5,000 trophies, which is insane. I'm ranked in the top 7,000 in the country and in the top 29,000 in the world for PlayStation trophies, and that is it baffles me. But I'm still grinding away. Still grinding away. We did a lot of fun games recently. Crimson and I, for Apple Licorice Day, we finished both Borderlands 1 and 2, and we moved on to Anthem, which is a really interesting game. It came out in, like 3 years ago, and it was a big flop because there was like a lot of substance that they were promising, and then they just kind of dropped it. It still has a lot of content, and the graphics and the gameplay is amazing. But a lot of people just wanted more, so they hate the game. You know how it is. So I've been enjoying it. He's been enjoying it. And we've been having a good time with it. And then I started the Jak and Daxter series. Never played. Same with Ratchet and Clank. I've never played Ratchet and Clank or Jak and Daxter, both of those series. So I started the first one today for Jak and Daxter, and it was really fun. I'm excited. I kept dying a lot. The game mechanics are very old. It's from a straight pull from the PS2. So now playing on the PS5, it's very weird. And the just if you don't time your jumps, you fuck it up and you die instantly. So I died a lot this morning. I died a lot. That's what I did today, and I just died a lot. Just a lot. It was a bad time. I think everyone who listened to the podcast who was there in the stream today will laugh at me and be like, "Yeah, you sucked ass." If you were in that stream this morning, and you're listening to the podcast and you're on YouTube, or if you're just listening, tweet at me being like, "Yeah, you suck at jumping. You suck at jumping, Josh." Just say you suck at jumping. Tweet at me your message in on YouTube. So stupid. No, things have been good. Things have been really, really good. I've been enjoying myself thoroughly. I had all these ideas for the podcast of what it was going to be. I had all these ideas about like, hey, I'm going to make this podcast and kind of continue it off of 11 Z's, which is all about like other streamers. But there's so many podcasts, so many podcasts, including people that I know who stream who have podcasts that interview other streamers and talk to them about how they got into streaming. And I didn't want to monopolize on that. Is that the right way to say that? Yeah, monopolize on that. Because it's just oversaturated. And I figured if I'm going to make a podcast, I want to be able to talk about whatever I want. And not that I couldn't do that with other people, but the stress of having to find guests every week is a lot. And then, recording around their schedule, but then also it's your content. So you have to focus on your own time management. It's a lot of work. And like I have guests come on, but it's not like really revolving around like, how did you get started streaming? It's more of like, what's your tell me about you, like with Crimson talking about video games and his past experience on like how he got into gaming and stuff, and then just talking about different things with life, and Sindreg explaining how he got to where he is, and finding out that and I didn't know this, finding out about how he got in, like he made his own fucking tiny house van and drove around. That's fucking awesome, And these things you don't normally talk about in day-to-day life or on streaming because it's not really relevant. And that's kind of the direction I want to go with this. I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent now. But like I I'm so worried constantly, like, oh, the content, the content, the content. I think that everyone is on that same trajectory of like, hey, I need to make content. It needs to be good. Whereas I want this podcast, just like this episode, to be literally a backlog. I want this to be just an open book journal of like you jumped into a VC on Discord and you're listening to me just ramble on about life with not really any pauses. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't edit this at all. The only thing, and I've said this multiple times, but I just want to make this clear. Like, the only thing I do is add the intro music and the outro music, and that's it. The only other thing I do is if there's long breaks or if I get a call midway through this this podcast and I have to pause quickly, or if my dog throws up on the bed and I literally have to jump out and like pause the thing, I'll cut that section and then trim them together. Do you know what I'm saying? Other than that, it's a straight shot. It's a straight shot, me just talking. This is basically a journal entry. And I like that it's become that because, yeah, I'm talking about funny things. And yeah, you get some insight on me and we just kind of talk about random shit. But like when I have a guest on, I want them to feel like we're just having a conversation. We're just chilling. And I want that to be, I want to continue on that. I have a bunch of guests lined up. Finding time is the hardest part because, again, allocating time is the hardest thing, you know. And everyone has their own time zones and that they're living on, and everyone has their own schedules. So finding a good overlap to record is the hardest part. So we're making do, but there will be more guests, I promise you, and there will be more things to come. I think that everybody who streams well, actually, let's have a conversation. Let's have a stream content creation conversation. It's just something that's so prevalent every single day for anyone who's a content creator. And I did air quotes right now because I think that is just a title for something. Like everyone has titles for things, you know. It's just one of those things. Like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I sell buttons that I make in my bedroom. That makes me an entrepreneur because I'm putting myself out there. You know, it's one of those things. Anyone who posts on social media can technically term themselves as a content creator. You're putting out content and you're creating it yourself. That's literally just called creativity, you know? I think after being on Twitch for over a year, I know I haven't been on here as long as other people, but something that I literally talked about today, I talk about with Crimson, I talk about with other streamers, I've talked about on my stream, I've talked about on the podcast, is you see so many people come and go. And I see so many people like be like, I'm going to stream. And then it doesn't go the way they want it to. And then they just stop. You know? How many times? I don't know how many times I've been like, fuck. Wow, this is not working out. Or fuck, I don't have many subs. No one's watching. I've lost viewership. I keep losing followers. What's happening? What do people want to watch? What do I want, you know, like it's just a back and forth, and it's very taxing on your mental health. It's very taxing on your well-being. And I think the biggest thing is that there's a disconnect with society and culture on what that content creation, this job, the actual definition of content creation and what you're doing, what that entails. I think that's the biggest thing because people expect it to happen instantaneously because they see other people doing it and having success in it. You know, we live in a society where everything is so instantaneous. You know, we get instant gratification. We learned that from COVID. You know, we lived it. If it was 10 years ago, we wouldn't have DoorDash and Uber Eats to like come drop off food while we are in the midst of a lockdown. Do you know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have had that. And I say we wouldn't have had that. And I shouldn't say that because who knows? You know, in another universe or in another time, in another instant with different variables that could have attested that maybe we would have. But we live in a world where things are very quick. If we want something, we can normally get it. If we want something, we can see it. We want it. We want to get there. We want to have success. It's everyone wants to be successful. But we see someone doing something that is completely at home. You don't see the back end stuff, just like movies. We see behind the scenes stuff. We don't know what it fully entails, but we see that. We visually see that in movies. We hear people talk about it. There's interviews. You get to see the behind the scenes footage and stuff. You don't get that with Twitch. You don't get that with content creation. All you see is someone recording videos, someone sitting at home doing something that looks simple. It looks simple, and people want to do that. You telling me that I can sit at my computer and play video games and people will give me money and people will watch? In essence, that's what you're doing. Is that what is actually happening? Not in the slightest, There's so many things you have to get prepared. You have to learn OBS. You have to learn how the guidelines. You have to look over the guidelines of Twitch, the guidelines of YouTube, the guidelines of Facebook. What is okay, what's not okay. Finding your own look, finding what you like to play, being entertainment, learning how to talk to chat. And some people never learn those things. They just want it. They start. They instantaneously start thinking that it's that simple. And they get into it and they take those steps themselves. And after a month, after 6 months, after a year, and there's no progression, they get very upset. They get upset or they get discouraged, and they have an internal battle within themselves of what am I doing wrong? And they stop. It's either they stop or they just straggle along and become very inconsistent, and only do it every once in a while. And some people do this as a hobby, which is, granted, that's totally fine, But I have this ideology in my head that no matter what, if you just say, "Oh, I do this as a hobby," every streamer secretly wants this to be their full-time job. Every streamer, doesn't matter who you are. Okay, that's just me. I feel that way because who wouldn't want to? If you're doing this as a hobby, that means you enjoy it. If you're doing this as a hobby, that means you enjoy it. So why wouldn't you want this to be the only thing you do? You know what I'm saying? I feel like even if it's not in the forefront of your mind, that is somewhere back in your mind. So you're still hoping. Granted, I can't say everyone because it's different per person, but everybody wants that. I say everybody. I keep saying everybody. I hope that everyone can understand that when I say everybody, I mean like the general public. The mass majority. Of course, it's not everybody, but whenever I'm generalizing, and I shouldn't generalize, I apologize. But it sucks, and it's also very discouraging when stuff like that happens. Because even for people who jump into it and they have the motivation, some people lose that, and that's okay. Some people will start, and then they realize it's not what they want. And take it from someone who hyper fixates on things a lot, especially games, and then like loses interest after they've played thoroughly through it. Like sometimes it seems exciting and you're like, let's go for it. And you go for it, you do it for a while, and you're just like, you know what? I'm good now. I've done my time. I'm good. And they end. But then some people get really discouraged and have a hard time accepting that it's not working out the way they want to. And then you have the other people who are just fucking like sharks, man. I shouldn't say sharks. They're whales. They're the whales of the Twitch world, man. They just float along. They do their shit. No one fucks with them. They just do their shit. They're good at it. They're massive. They just keep going. And they swallow up all the krill, which is the viewers. And they just bring people in. Everyone's like, people get on their boats and they're like, whoa, look at that, dude. Holy shit. And they do fine. It just comes naturally to them. They do the swimming and the catching and all that, Big streamers metaphor is the whales of the sea. But then going on to that, like there's some people who just, it comes easily to them. And they get lucky because that's another huge part is Twitch. There's a very small percentage of luck that goes into how it is. It's personality, look, marketing, and luck. If you're really trying to make it, at least for me, that's my viewpoint. And I'm the marketing aspect. I have branding. I've got down. I spent a lot of time on how my stream looks. 100%. Personality, I feel like I have. I definitely could put a lot of work into myself because there's a lot of like self-doubt and insecurities that I have, but I feel like that goes with everybody. Even the whales of Twitch, I feel like that goes toe and toe. Everyone has insecurities and doubts. But the branding and the personality, I got that, I feel. Marketing, I fucking shit at. Editing videos, all that stuff, can't get it. I need to, that's the one thing I need to work on. Luck, again, totally out there. Who knows if it'll come. I remember when I first started, I got a lot of luck right off the bat, and it blew up for a little bit, but now it's died down. You know, it was just exposure off the bat, and then it's died down. You see it a lot. But then you have the sharks. This is why I wanted to save the term. Then you have the sharks who literally network like out their ass. All they do is network. Every single time someone raids into someone, they follow them. They spend as much time in new people's streams for like a month until those people know their name, and then they leave because they want you to know who they are, but they don't give a shit if you hang out in their streams or, you know, whatever. They only do that so that way you get to know them. And that's not the way you should market, you know. That's not the way you should network, okay? These types of people are the same people who like only hang out with certain people, which is totally fine. You know, totally fine to have your own clique, because there's definitely people that I only stream with because we vibe well. Not that I couldn't play games or stream with other people. It's just the fact that we vibe really well, and I don't have to worry about them saying anything that affects my brand, or I don't have to worry about them causing issues. You know what I'm saying? Not that I feel like anybody could cause issues. Actually, there are a few people who cause issues. I'm not gonna lie. There's some people who probably would cause issues. But there's the people who are sharks who will just take you under their wing and the last moment just pounce on you, chew you up, spit you out, and it's just for clout. They come to your streams, they watch your stuff, and they leave. The only reason they do that is because they're hoping to ride your success or ride your views and pull them away. And then there's people who are streamers who are smaller who will say that they like watching your stuff, and the only reason they watch your stuff is because they want to get your shout outs that you give or whatnot like that. And it's rough because I think that a lot of people, you have to be kind of ruthless when it comes to Twitch, not in the sense that you can't be friends with everybody, but like you kind of have to be like, okay, at the end of the day, you have to only consider your own success. You have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And I've talked about this multiple times, but like I spend a lot of my time working during the day, working on things for Twitch and talking to like with sponsorships, especially as of late, which has been really nice. But during that time that I'm working, I normally have people up who are streaming, and I lurk in their streams. I normally am not active in people's streams solely because I don't have the time to spend 100% focusing on what they're doing. And I know that sucks for some people because they want the view, and especially I understand like they want people who are active in chat, but lurkers go a long way. It adds another view, and I do watch. I've had a couple people, 2 people. I'm not gonna 2 people. I know there's been like 4 people who've been like, "Who is it? Who is it, Josh?" I'm not gonna fucking out them. That's not my place, and totally fucking disrespectful for me to do. But there's been 2 people now who have been like, "You never watch my stuff," and I'm like, "I do. I'm lurking." But you know, like it's not. I got my own life. I got things that I need to do, and like I'm there and I'm supporting you. But if it's not in the way that you want me to, I'm sorry. And that's just one of those things. This got really deep. This podcast got very deep, and I just wanted to talk about it because it's very prevalent as of late, especially with all my switches, you know, that I've been doing with schedule and streams and what I wanted to do and all that stuff. It's just constantly coming up, especially with this whole hoververse that's started. And like this, the artisan builds having issues with their sponsors and their affiliates and stuff, just riding over people. It's just such a prevalent topic because people, I think, are realizing that Twitch is a great, amazing place that you can meet a lot of cool people and have an amazing opportunity and free granted, I think a lot of people forget that it's free to stream on Twitch. Literally, you can get paid for doing what you want. You literally have the option to ban whoever you want, have your own stream however you want. As long as you follow their guidelines, they will pay you. It might not be the amount that you want, but you can make a job for yourself for free. As long as you have a fucking laptop, as long as you have a laptop or your phone, you can stream and make money, you know? How successful you are is up to you, you know? But I think a lot of people forget that it's free to do this, literally free. Derailed, sorry. Going back to what I was saying. Twitch is an amazing place where you can make a job for yourself, you know, and meet a lot of cool people. But there's also a lot of people who are just like, it's just like the business world, you know, like they will do everything they can to get to the top, no matter how many people they trample along the way, you know. And it's a horrible way to put it, but like, something that I've realized is that some people that I've met throughout the year that I've been here are only talking to me and only show up in my streams and only show up in my streams and only talk to me when I have big things happening. And it's a big burning light. It's like them putting a spotlight on themselves. I don't think they realize that they're doing it, but they're putting a spotlight on themselves, because if the only time I hear from you and the only time that you show up in my chat is when I have over 30 only over 30 viewers, or over 40 viewers, or if I have something big going on, and you talk about your own stream or your own stuff, seconds, if not minutes if not seconds, after joining, after not seeing you for like months, it puts a bad taste in my mouth. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's things like that I think a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people have realized that some people do. It's just all about clout. It's all about clout. People want to be involved if they feel like they can get something out of it, or they feel like if they want to be a part of something big that's happening, which is shitty, because like when you're putting your effort in, you know, and you're putting your foot forward to bring something that you enjoy to people who want to watch it, and then there's people who show up and they try to be a part of it because they want to get something out of it. It's like a dog humping your leg and you're like, get off. Like, what are you doing? You're fixed. You can't do anything. I'm not into that. Get the fuck off. That's what it is, you know? And I see that with a lot of like bigger streamers. Like, I'm talking like big streamers. You see a lot of people who are smaller streamers who are just starting out, but they're gifting money and then doing long ass messages with the tips and stuff, being like, you know, since I started streaming, but like doing subtle self promos. And it's like, you're putting a black X on your back for all people who you would want to collaborate with, because those people who you're trying to suck up to, they can see right through your bullshit. They know what you're trying to do. Just be human. Just be a human being. Like all of everybody, even fucking like Miskiff, Ludwig, all of those people, they're just human beings. You know, they're just doing their shit. They're like, yeah, they're looking at it as a business, which is why they're seeing right through your bullshit. You know, they know what they need to do, and they know what you're trying to do. You know, I just feel like it's something that people are starting to realize more and more. But also it's becoming more prevalent. There's so many people just putting like, oh my gosh, I don't know if it's because I've joined Hover, because I feel like there's so much drama and there's so many like little gremlins that use that app. It's a fantastic app. The idea and function is there. It's cool. And I've met a lot of cool people through it. But there's a mass majority of the people who use that. Not like bigger people. Well, some bigger people. But like smaller people who just like swarm like bees to every single person who's on that app. And they will just be like self promo, self promo, self promo, self promo. And it's insane. It's like there's an etiquette that I feel like a lot. Maybe I should make a YouTube video about this, like just stream etiquette, of being like how to talk in chat, how not to come across as like needy, how to like like how to confront a streamer if you want to play with them or collab with them. Like maybe I should do that because like I don't know. People have horror stories, but it's so interesting because I don't think people realize how see-through they can be, especially in chat. I don't know. Anyway, we went on a wild turn there. The only reason I brought this up is because I'm seeing it a lot more in my chat. I see it a lot more in my friends' chat. And also, there's just so much drama happening on Twitter right now with the Twitter people that I know. I just see, this is why I don't like Twitter, and I got rid of it when I was younger. I love Twitter. Twitter is so fun, and the people that I have followed are awesome. But the suggested people who are friends of the people I follow, I see tweets of because they like or they retweet or whatnot. And oh my God, why are people so toxic? There's no reason for it. There's none. Literally no reason. Oh, people get so mad about so little things, like such minuscule things. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be emotional. It's good to let your emotions out. When you're doing it in a public setting, at least for me, from a business standpoint, it's like if I was a sponsor, if I was anyone looking to collaborate in any business or professional format, I look at one little glance at your Twitter and I'm like, wow, they are a crybaby. They cause issues. They have problems with minuscule things. We're going to have issues with their contracts. Nope. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm looking at things as at a business standpoint, but from doing content creation in Twitch and all those different things, no matter what you're doing in that field, just remember that there are a lot of other people doing it with you. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're doing things that for yourself. Know that it's okay to say no to other people. If someone wants to collab with you, if someone wants to stream with you, and you want to allocate your time to something for yourself, do that. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad for saying no. You might want to play with them, but there's always time off stream. There's always time in the future to play with somebody. There's always good ways to network with people. It's just this constant collage of lessons that have to be learned in streaming. And that's the thing. It doesn't get talked about because no one knows what happens behind the scenes. Going back to the first point, this is what people call a callback. Not in a joke format, which is a callback in humor, but a callback onto previous topic of conversation. The first and foremost topic of conversation. There is a disconnect on all the stuff that happens behind the scenes on social media of what content creators, in quotations, have to deal with and also do for their job. From the business standpoint, from marketing, from networking. Networking is such a big one. If it wasn't for me networking in the beginning of when I started streaming, I probably wouldn't have hit affiliate when I did. And the thing is, I remember distinctly, I only used a self-promo channel in someone's Discord once. It was Inside of Chips, and then once in Alexander Average. Both of them, once. But it was after like a month of me watching their stuff because I felt uncomfortable. This is before I knew stream etiquette. I felt uncomfortable sharing my shit in someone else's shit because that didn't feel right. But I had a special stream going on and I was just like, you know what? No one knows I stream. I might as well do it. Because at that point, I didn't know how to connect my Twitch to my Discord. It didn't say that I was streaming. So I was just like, you know what? I've been streaming to one person for this entire time, which has been my best friend and my wife. You know what? I'm just going to post once. Just once, never again. Did that. I remember all this flood of people being like, holy shit, Josh, you stream? And I was like, oh, yo, what's up? Hey, welcome in. And I never did it again. Because, like, if you do that, I don't know. I've just felt weird about it. And maybe, don't quote me on that, because maybe I did it once more or something like that. We're in another person's Discord. I'm not sure. But I know it wasn't much, and it took me a while to finally come to terms with actually doing it once. I knew that no one knew I streamed because I never brought it up in someone else's stream. I always was sitting and watching Chips and Alex play games, and I never felt comfortable bringing it up in conversation because it was during their stream, and I knew that would be weird to be like, yeah, I stream while the person's streaming. It just felt weird. But the whole etiquette side to things and networking is something you have to learn, and no one talks about it. No one talks about good ways to go about it. And I think that might be a really good topic of conversation to have for not only one to talk about in the podcast, but maybe a YouTube video, because I think for new streamers, it's a good skill to learn how to talk to people, how to present yourself to new people. You know, it's interesting. I think that would be a good topic of conversation. Damn, see what happens when I just go on a rant. Who needs a fucking notebook? I've been talking for fucking ever. I hope to all of my friends who stream, you learned something from us, maybe, hopefully, or at least got some insight onto the back end of some things, or just had a nice open conversation or topic of conversation to listen to make you mull over some things, you know. Something that I think is important, and this is what I'll end the podcast on, okay? Something that I think is important, okay, is open communication. Everyone's going to disagree about something. Everybody's going to feel differently about certain topics. You know, no one's ever going to agree on everything. There's a reason that there's debates. There's a reason there's senates. they discuss things before decisions are made because not everyone's going to agree. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. That's why there's whales, sharks, minnows, all the fish of the sea, and we're still having ones be found. Everyone's different. So it's something that I think is important and something that needs to happen more in just everyday life. Not even about Twitch stuff, but just in general, is open conversation. Open conversation, but with a clause. And the clause is you should have open conversation, but go into it knowing that you can't change someone's mind. I think that is the biggest thing that someone can learn. It's called patience and it's called complacency, but not in a bad way. It's you're separating yourself from judgment and from your standpoint to the point where you can hear someone out on their viewpoints and just say, okay, not you're wrong, not are you sure, just okay. Because you know at the end of the day that you cannot change someone's mind. They have to change their mind themselves. So have open conversation about topics, big or small, and just say, okay. You don't have to change your viewpoint. You don't have to change how you do things. But it's good to have conversations with people and hear their side of things. Because one, you might learn something. Your viewpoint might change hearing their side of it and having conversations without arguments or judgment and feeling like they're judging you while you're talking. You know, just have open conversations. Sit, listen to someone, hear what they have to say, and then go from there, you know? And you're allowed to make judgments. Another big thing. Guys, if you're a streamer, if someone's rubbing you the wrong way in chat, doesn't matter if they did anything wrong or broke one of your rules. If they are rubbing you the wrong way and acting weird and you don't feel comfortable with them around, you have every single right to ban them. Every single right. There is nothing in the terms of service that says you cannot ban someone in your channel for not breaking any of your rules. If they are rubbing you the wrong way and making you feel uncomfortable, or even more, making anyone in your chat feel uncomfortable, ban them. There's nothing wrong with it. The glorious part about having a free platform that you can use and put out your content and control and make your own is it's your own. Make it how you want to make it. Build it how you want to build it. Okay? If they're being weird, fucking get rid of them. You know, if they want to put in an unban request and be like, yo, what the fuck? You can explain yourself. Hey, you're making me feel uncomfortable. If you're willing to not do that again, I will unban you. And if they say no, then keep them banned. They can always put in an unban request all the time. Anyone can. And if they get butthurt about it and don't understand why, then another reason why you don't want them around. I know that might sound shitty, but like, this is your thing. This is your thing that you're building. If people are uncomfortable with somebody's presence, or you feel uncomfortable by someone's presence, it's going to show on stream. Get rid of them. There's no point. There's no point. Anyway. Wow. What a conversation today. Wow. It started off so like, hey guys, it's a big fucking week. It's so good, so fresh. Guys, this is a serious point of conversation. I feel like that happens all the time though with these podcasts. Again, it's just a journal. I've been doing this for a while and I like this. I like the way that we have this set up. And I hope that you learned something today, got something out of this, or had a nice thing to think over, you know, like I said before. But until next week, I hope that you enjoyed this one. And I hope that you enjoy the streams. And I hope that this new schedule doesn't take away from anything and you enjoy it thoroughly. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you so much for listening. Get your HelloFresh boxes. Check out the merch. Follow me on my socials. Check out the stream. And with that being said, thank you all very, very much. And eat your apples. Stay funky, my dudes. I'll see you next week. Bye.